How you doing, everybody? It's Wardy here, and we're back at it breaking down the latest of Mets land in our latest Big Mets update segment. And I'm beyond amped up to get into this one because after we all had a fantastic Thanksgiving, I hope you guys certainly did, to everyone that celebrates the holiday. We fast forward a day later on this Black Friday, known for bargain shopping, known for cheap prices. It's fitting that we're going to break down cheap reporting that comes out of Boston over the past 24 hours. If you even want to call it reporting, what we're going to deep dive is a schmuck who acts like he has sources and is trying to be first and the most generational talent not named Shohei Ohtani in recent free agent market history. But yes, we're going to find out that the Boston Red Sox have signed him already to a 12-year deal thanks to a man by the name of Mick. No. We're going to deep dive this nonsense, why this is a continued problem in the baseball community when it comes to false news, and how to really differentiate people who know what they're talking about versus people who certainly have anything but reliability. And from there, I'm even going to share my personal conversation one-on-one that I had with one of my most trusted sources in the industry, one that I relayed on the platform in previous years, and one that has been 95% accurate with everything he's relayed my way since we built our relationship a number of years ago, to see where he stands on the Juan Soto to Boston front. Jeff Passan of ESPN, we all know Passan, he had a lot to say on that front over the past day. From there, Celsius, the new sponsor for Juan Soto that was announced by Soto himself over the past couple days, now they're giving you all the reason to believe that he's headed back to the Bronx potentially. That, along with Juan Soto's latest connection to the Mets, and where this maybe all started back to when he was around a 14-year-old, is what we're deep diving, folks. So smash your like and subscribe button. Let me know your initial reactions to all this nonsense that we're about to break down, and thank you all so much for doing so in our latest Big Mets update segment and Wardy rant segment, because I'm not holding anything back today, the same way that I'm never holding anything back from letting you guys know about our amazing sponsor at BetUS that has you covered with all your sports betting needs. Head over to betus.com.pa, folks, in case you haven't already. That way you too can use Wardy's promo code YouTube150. That way you too get a 150% bonus on your first deposit, 125 on your second and your third, up to $2,000 for all your sports betting needs. And I'm hammering my Pittsburgh Steelers money line as the underdog at plus 130 or so there. Paired there that we're going to see with these, I was going to say San Diego, no, Los Angeles Chargers money line straight and a two-leg parlay. Feel free to tail this, guys, should you wish. Please know that I'm not a sports betting expert. However, just a diehard fan that loves to place daily bets here at BetUS. That is a $20 bet that can win me over 80 outright should both these teams win and cover straight. So good luck to all that tail, and shout out once more to BetUS. But let's hop back into this one, everybody, because like all you, I want to pay no attention to this whatsoever throughout Thanksgiving yesterday. But of course, everyone had a run with this, so we're going to further break down why this is a continued problem and why Mets fans, Yankees fans, whoever you're a fan of, and the Boston Red Sox fans especially, need to pump the brakes for their own sake, knowing how this saga is going to ultimately unfold on the Soto front. And as we see from a man by the name of Mick, breaking news, the Boston Red Sox have signed free agent outfielder Juan Soto. The deal is still unknown, but I'm hearing it's 12 years with no deferred money. First of all, 12 years, I do not see a world at all where that's going to happen, but that's okay. We'll give him benefit of the doubt here. Not like he has since been quoted that we've seen by X himself saying Juan Soto's not signed anywhere yet. And then on top of it all, this man decides to double down on this entire situation to the point of saying, just spoke with a source to the Soto signing. This was as of a couple hours ago. Boston's PR team had a plan for the announcement that included a video of Soto at Fenway Park. Management got a word of your report yesterday and called an emergency Zoom meeting. Yes, because after finding that this man by the name of Mick, who at the time had right around 3,000 X followers, oh my goodness gracious, because this got out there yesterday, they had to rush a huge team meeting right after the holiday because of you. You nailed it. He's coming to Boston. Seriously, honestly, I have to give credit where credit's due. It takes a lot of cojones to put yourself out there as much as he did just to be wrong when it comes to this. Well, let me make something clear. I'm not saying that Juan Soto cannot be a Boston Red Sox. There's very much a possibility where Juan Soto can sign with the Yankees, the Red Sox, the Mets, the Dodgers, Blue Jays, what have you. There is not a certainty as to where he's landing at this point in time, but that's where the emphasis is here. It's giving people false hope when you're putting out there, oh, we're going to find out in the coming days. A few days is how much, that's subjective. A few days to you could have been at least a week, whereas to the other average individual, that's just the first 1, 2, 3 days after you initially say something like this. So obviously this caused a great stir yesterday, which had a lot of people freaking out, not including myself, but many others. And then we find out, reaffirmed from, again, which shouldn't come as a surprise to anybody, Jeff Passan. Again, the Jeff Passan breaks the following yesterday, saying, I am thankful for reporters who don't make up stories. This comes after the so-called report from Mick coming out of Boston. I am also thankful that Juan Soto has not agreed to any contract, which means you can get off Twitter and go spend the holiday with your family. Happy Thanksgiving. Now, Hector Gomez, who is one of the more prominent Hispanic reporters we have seen out there, he jumped on the coattails of this initial report from Mick and said, I'm hearing 13 years at $625 million, to which I quote tweeted that and respectfully replied, this is why we only take what you say with a grain of salt at best, Hector, because he's the same man who had Francisco Alvarez close to signing an extension with the Mets back on February 20th of this year. You know, I'm still waiting for that to happen, Hector. Enlighten me as to when it's going to. When it comes to one of the many reports that was inaccurate by Hector here, what he's hearing is, again, what he is hearing. Just because he's hearing something, just because he has a check, does not necessarily mean it holds true. I would also like to make clear that as someone who has broken down reports that have been accurate and inaccurate on the platform, that I've really prided myself and I've done my best to separate the two. When we have referenced guys like Carlos Baerga throughout the offseason, I've never came out here and said, breaking news, the Mets already have a contract offer in at $660 million, like you said a couple weeks ago. Breaking news, the Mets are signing Juan Soto at $700 million, period. No, it's all been question marks, and I've said in each and every one, it's Baerga who's been right and wrong, so take it with a grain of salt to an extent. Take it as you will, but there's a reason why it hasn't been reaffirmed by more reliable reporters in the past, since the Rosenthals, to a degree, if you're not named Aaron Judge, John Heyman, the list goes on from there. But this is a continued problem in the baseball community that I really just want to highlight because, again, if he lands with the Red Sox, congratulations, Red Sox fans and everyone. And I'll be the first to say that if we find out in the coming days that Juan Soto is going to the Red Sox on a 12-year deal, then I will go out my way to further apologize to this account at Beyond Average Mick for myself being wrong. But between what Jeff Passan has reaffirmed, in which I'm taking his reliability and his resume every single day of the week over a schmuck of a nobody in the public eye right now when it comes to reporting, I cannot stand people that try to run with something regarding such a massive name, knowing that they're going to allow this to build traction in the algorithm because of such a hot button topic name. I know that with my platform and with my following, if I go out tomorrow and say breaking news, I say the exact same thing, but with them going to Mets, it's going to blow up just as much, if not significantly more. But what am I losing? All my credibility at the end of the day, because I know that I'm lying. I know that I don't have any accurate things to relay for that to be true. And when talking about accuracy, one man that I typically defer to, there are multiple people in the industry which I'm connected with, which relay me information every offseason, but there's one in particular that I have a great relationship with, and I'm not going to tell you the name, obviously, because you guys don't know him in the public eye, one, but two, he's very informed when it comes to connections with multiple execs across Major League Baseball, and has great relationships with guys like Jeff Passan, among others here in the baseball space. But this is what he has to say after I asked him, I'm sure you've seen the rumblings on the Soto to Boston front, what have you heard? He said, Boston shit is not true, and then I said the funniest part to me was the 12 years, because I don't see Soto getting anything less than 14, even with multiple opt-outs, and he said it was all made up. Mind you, not long after having this conversation, we saw Jeff Passan tweet out himself as well that this is nonsense. This is the same man who I've been connected with for a couple of years, who relayed the information that Carlos Correa was flying to Minnesota the night before we found out publicly that he was signing with them in the morning there that next day by Passan, whoever broke it. This is the same man who relayed to me at least an hour and a half prior to finding out publicly that Jacob deGrom was signing with the Texas Rangers. This is the same man who's relayed to me that Yusei Kikuchi was a slam dunk to go to the Blue Jays 48 hours before it became public. There are multiple other examples that I have that I can relay your guys' way, but those are just a couple that I know between himself and I, and he has been accurate every single offseason when I ask him what does he know. Again, he doesn't know everything, but what he knows is 100% accurate pretty much every single time. So just to further reaffirm, you guys can believe what you want to believe, but at the end of the day, this is a continued problem in the space, and unfortunately, knowing that anyone, including myself, let's be frank, can get a blue check mark, it further creates a greater problem as to who people can act like that they're a reporter, that they're running with something because you're looking for some type of certification, something to really further prove that, when in reality, it just, again, someone who has a check mark, who felt like that they hit because of a report with the Boston Bruins, in which they fired their head coach a couple weeks ago, and then he signed with the Blues right away. There was speculation leading up to that point as well, and he said the exact same thing. I will find out in the coming days, when, mind you, he wasn't the only person that was putting that out there at the time either. So believe what you guys want to believe, but that is what I'm going to leave you with on that front. Before we talk about Celsius and the latest drama going on with that I'm going to share with you, I'm first going to relay relay an older interview with Juan Soto, not exactly sure how old this is, from a couple years ago, probably during his time with the Nationals, speaking on his come up in Major League Baseball when he was officially trying out with teams there as a international free agent prospect. And this is what he had to say about the Mets. And this is in Hispanic. However, this was relayed and reaffirmed from Master Flip, who's a longtime follower of mine. Shout out to Master. I'm sure he's very happy if he sees this video to see that he's featured here. Soto tried out for the Mets in 2014. He described it to be his strongest tryouts, where he hit 15 tanks. He really did want to sign with the orange and blue. And let's just hear from Juan Soto's mouth himself. Again, if you guys don't know what he's saying, that's fine. But for the people that do, listen up.
Soto, te mando a buscar Nietzsche. Voy para allá. ¿Tú estás ready? Yo, ¿cómo así, Nietzsche? Por ahí vienen los mes. ¿Tú estás ready? Y yo, vámonos. Búsquenle agua, búsquenle Gatorade, búsquenle comida, búsquenle de todo. Vamos arriba. Llegaron los mes. Y ese fue el mejor trayado que yo tuve en el día entero.
El último.
El último. Tiré para la base, corrí, saqué como 15 pelotas. Un hombre que nada más sacaba 2 pelotas en el trayecto.
Puro corazón fue eso.
A fuego, atrás de comida.
So those were the remarks from Juan Soto on his come up there, trying out for teams and the Mets especially, and hitting a lot of tanks and doing some Master Flip. Thank you for that clip. Have to wonder if, you know, Soto, this is a full circle thing. He wanted to be with us then as a teenager. Hopefully, God willing, he wants to be with us now at north of $700 million, because we know that's what it's going to take. And final remarks I also want to share before we get into Celsius is what we see here. Mike Rodriguez, I just finished a call. Let's see here. Just clicked on the wrong thing. My apologies, everybody. I just finished a call, and sources from Boston informed me that there is a player, that the player's spoken for over an hour with Rafael Devers about the team, said about Soto. There is a 12-year offer around $50 million per season, and Juan Soto's interested in the idea of going to the Red Sox. You know, and mind you, this is just mere a couple hours after Mike Rodriguez shared his opinion based on what he has heard throughout the league, that the Mets look like clearly the leader of the pack right now. All these things, everything's eyeing in their direction because of front office structure, all these things that I've relayed. So I'm sure Mike has probably seen my videos and my remarks to an extent, as well as others in the Mets space as well, because he reaffirmed what we all know, what has been the same over the past couple of days that we've broken down the lace in the Soto sweepstakes, to now saying that after the call that I just had, mind you, that call went directly in hand with what the Mick report initially was. And for not only my most trusted source that I have in the industry to tell me that everything that was just reported on Boston is complete BS, but then for Jeff Passan to reaffirm that as well. Red Sox fans, run with whatever you want to run with, but there are more things pointing directly in hand as to why this was BS from the start, and why if he lands with Boston, this guy Mick will not be the first to break it, should it happen, say, leading up to the winter meetings, if not the winter meeting itself. I do not foresee Soto make a decision in the next 2 days as well, but if it does happen, if he does go to Boston, I'll be the first to apologize and admit that I was wrong, like even Jeff Passan was, and my most trusted source, and everyone else. So believe what you guys and gals want to believe there, but what we know right now, reportedly, is that the Mets have been looking like the leader of the pack as a team that has not needed to up the ante other bid publicly to this point, the way that the Yankees and the Red Sox did after round one, phase one. We didn't hear anything on the Blue Jays offer. We didn't hear anything on the Dodgers. We didn't hear anything on the Mets, really, but there's a lot of reason to believe that the Mets are probably the top dog in that first round of bidding for obvious reasons, and they will likely be the top dogs in the bidding per round that they go in this bidding war for Juan Soto. And I think a lot of this has to do with Scott Boras being a talking piece, trying to get certain things out there to increase these bidding prices to go higher and higher, to really have teams go up against each other, the Red Sox, the Yankees, the Mets, because of all the ramifications that come with it, should he land here and not go there, or land there and not go here, what have you. But speaking of Juan Soto and speaking of these sweepstakes, folks, let's get into the latest from his actual sponsor and Celsius energy drink, because you guys all remember this clip, right, where he announced just a couple days ago that he was partnering with Celsius. A lot of Yankees fans love the fact that he was wearing, you know, a navy blue bomber with just a white button down, and also the Celsius hat he puts on is just white with navy blue lettering there, and we see the roping. And well, we come to find out that they tweet yesterday, so did anyone, pardon me, find the Easter egg in the video yet? Then they tweet furthermore saying, sources coming in with a momentum shift to the Bronx. Now, if this isn't the biggest troll job, then this is Celsius energy drink telling us right now that Juan Soto is looking like he's destined to go back to the Yankees. Do they have a connection, given the fact that they are the current sponsor? Absolutely. But are we expecting Celsius energy drink to be the first to break the news that he's looking like he's in favor of going to the Yankees. I don't believe that for a second. This honestly feels like a very heavy troll job in which Yankee fans, should they not bring back Juan Soto this offseason, are never going to drink Celsius again. They're going to boycott it. They're going to burn down every building imaginable, and I wouldn't blame them for doing that. But yes, they're absolutely running with this right now, and you guys can believe this as much as you want or as little as you want. But the reason why I relay this is because it's coming from literally the company that literally just emphasized a massive sponsorship they just did with Juan Soto announced over the past couple of days, and there's just been so much nonsensical and inaccurate reporting going on. So we already talked about the nonsense with the Red Sox reporting, so we might as well talk about the nonsense here with Celsius, should it in fact be a troll job, because there's been nothing to believe otherwise for this to be true, other than common sense that the Yankees obviously have edges in certain degrees, not on the financial front, but obviously on the history of the organization, having Juan Soto on their club this past season, knowing what it takes to win, getting all the way to the dance in year one. There are a lot of things that favor the Yankees in these negotiations, the same way that there are things that favor the Mets, the same way that there are things that favor, to an extent, the Red Sox, to a lesser degree the Blue Jays, to a higher degree the Dodgers, but not on the financial front, which is why we're all hoping Soto doesn't go there. But rest assured, everybody, once we find out more accurate reporting on the Juan Soto sweepstakes, where he's going, the latest rumblings, if there's anything that comes out in the public eye more on the Mets front over the next day or so, we will cover here on the platform, just like I've kept you guys updated on everything with Juan Soto all off season long. I held off on not making a video on this yesterday because I wanted to hear more from people from Jeff Pass, and I want to hear from my own industry source as well. And then today we find out the Celsius news as well. So I'm kind of happy that I waited as long as I did to come out with this one. But thank you guys again for watching. Let us know your initial reactions and thoughts in the comments down below. And this is your guy Wardy signing out. Let's go Mets, baby. Peace.